Hello, welcome. Sam of Sambookery here, and today I wanted to share with you an idea I had about combining some of the pages from my Wild Meadow Sketchbook with my free printable of these mini file folders. Both of these projects are available on my website. These are free and this is for purchase. I'll put a link in the description to both of them. But the sketchbook has all of these sketches, but also a lot of blank pages as well. Blank, dot, we've got lined, and grid. And I had some extra when I was doing the tutorial for this. And it's got some backing papers too. So I was just playing around with them. And they're the perfect size to fit inside the file folders. And so that turns these little file folders into like mini journals. You still got your ephemera pockets, but now you've got pages that you can journal on or draw on or write on. So I thought I'd just do a quick tutorial for you about adding those in. So let me grab all my supplies and we'll get started. There's a full tutorial video on my YouTube channel for making both the sketchbook and the folders. So I won't go into how to make those, just how to combine the two together. So you'll want to have some pages printed off, whichever ones you like. I've got these plain ones left, but if you print out one of the sketchbook ones, whatever you want, from the sketchbook printable, and have your file folders already made and assembled from the file folder tutorial. And then you just need a few things. I've got just some wax paper to do my gluing on so I don't mess up my desk. For book binding, I've got some waxed thread. I have a needle, I think it's just an embroidery needle, and an awl. And I'm using a bone folder and some art glitter glue, as well as my Distress Oxide in Vintage Photo. So first, we'll want to glue our pages together, and you have a lot of options because there's a lot of different plain ones, there's some background plain ones, and then there's all the imagery. I'm just going to use what I have here, and you don't have to back them with the same thing. So you may want writing space and a gridded space for doing, journaling or sketching or whatever in the same folder. So you don't need to glue the same things back to back. Or maybe like here we have a totally plain page and then we have an image page. So I'm just using what I have left. I will put these two together. And I just run a thin line of art glitter glue around the outside edge of one side. Putting a little bit more in the corners because I am going to round the corners. And I don't want to cut off all the adhesive. And then I just get one corner good. I get a second corner lined up and then press it down. You could also use a glue stick or tape, whatever you like to use will be fine. I just like the art glitter glue. So we'll glue them together. Let me do a couple more. So maybe we'll combine like the dot and the grid. Those are really similar. Let's do the grid and just a totally plain one. It really could be directional, but the way I designed them and printed them, this rounded part right here is at the top. You see this part is just a straight angle right here. So if you want to keep them that direction, just put the rounded part at the top. So we'll flip them over. If you want to put glue on the whole thing, go ahead. I tried it that way, and I'm not a fan of glue stick. It just doesn't get along with me. And I found just gluing the edges worked fine when I went to fold them together. So I figured less glue is better. All right, so let me finish doing mine and I will be right back. So I finished gluing all mine together and I've rounded the corners. I am going to ink them And yeah, I will do that before I fold them because I've already got a dark, the paper's dark here in the center, so I won't need to ink the crease at all. Usually if it's just plain, I will ink the folded creases as well. But I'm just covering up, especially on the rounded edge, but just the white paper that shows on the very edges, just to keep with this vintage, more warm vibe. So once I do that, then you'll want to just fold them in half. Let's move these guys. I just line up the edges, crease with my bone folder, and there we go. So let me do that to the rest of them, and then we'll decide how we want to put them in and how many we want to put in each folder. I'm all done with this, getting my pages prepped, and I ended up having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages here, and I have 5 file folders, so I will probably just put 1 per file folder, but let's see if we can fit more than 1. Let's nest these together, because as you nest them, the edges stick out farther and farther unless you trim them down, and that's why I did leave pretty wide brown border on here, so if you wanted to trim it down, you're not cutting into the main design. But let's just see. Yeah, definitely 2 fits without extending beyond the edge of the file folder. Let's check 3. 3 does as well. Now you're getting a pretty fat folder here because each page is 2 papers thick and then doubled. But you really can put, honestly, let's see if we can do all 5. All 5 fits. So if you want to make a mini journal out of one of the file folders, like maybe you like the scene better on one of them, you can totally get 5 pages in here, which are double thickness of paper, and it still closes and looks really nice and fits in here perfectly. So, and that's an option too if you buy this kit, but you're not interested in this cover that comes with it. You can get the free printable for the file folders and just put the pages in here as they're sized perfectly to fit in here. So that is an option, but since I'm trying to fit all of these things in, let me show you. I've been working on my Wild Meadow Journal all month, and this is how fat it is already. And I'm trying to fit everything like in there, so I don't really want 2 extra fat things trying to go in there. So I think I will just do 1 page per file folder, and that way each file folder can maybe be on a different topic. So if I want to put, you know, ideas on flowers in this one, and maybe ideas on animals in this one, and maybe I want to try to draw some of the cottages that were in the printables. I've got some paper in this folder to draw, and I can put in like the reference image, the ephemera from the kit with a reference image here. So I think I'll just bind in 1 for each, but it's totally doable to make a little mini booklet with multiple pages out of each folder. I'm going to bind them in with a 3-hole pamphlet stitch and sew them in. But I did want to show you that these folders are not very big. So a standard like home or office stapler will totally reach to the middle if you want to just staple yours in. Another option would be if you don't happen to have a needle or something to poke your holes with, you can just take any thread you have, wrap it around, and tie a knot. And then that will hold your pages in. And it gives you the added option of you being able to slip them out if you need to work on, or you messed up, you don't like it, you want to take it out. And you can still have this string here, and then you can add more pages too if you'd like to do that. So those are other options. I'm just going to do a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. That's my favorite. So we need 1, 2, 3 times the height of your pages. any needle will work as long as the eye is big enough for the thread that you are using. It doesn't need to be a sharp needle because we are going to poke the holes in the paper. So embroidery needles or tapestry needles work well. So let's see, I'll put this one in here. So you just want to line it up. It's just two things I'm holding, just the page and the cover. So I'm not even going to clip it, but you can use like little binder clips. These work great, or paper clips just to hold them together. But it's just two, so I think I can hold two together with my hands. And I forgot to grab my giant paper clips that I like to use. So we just poke 3 holes. I just eyeball it, put one in the middle, one maybe 3/4 to 1 inch down from the top, and 3/4 to 1 inch up from the bottom. And let's see. Yeah, if you want to have beads or charms hanging outside from your strings, you'll want to start on the outside. But since I'm trying to fit this into a bigger journal, I don't want any extra bulk. So I will start from the inside. That way my strings will end on the inside and I can just tie a little knot here. Start from the center inside, leave a tail. We're going to go into the top hole. Pull your thread till it's tight. Skip the middle hole and go down to the bottom hole. And then we're going to go back in the center hole. And we want to come up on the opposite side of the center string from this little tail here. And I already did that, so I'm good to pull. You can take your needle off at this point. You can take off any clips you may have. And now we're just going to tighten the thread. And I check on the outside to make sure it is tightened. And then we just tie a knot. 1 knot. Second knot. If you're not using wax thread, if you're worried about your knot coming out, if you're using something kind of slippery, just dab a little bit of glue. You can use white glue. If you have a fray check, this will stop the thread from fraying and from unraveling, something like that. The wax thread, the wax kind of holds the thread in place so it doesn't move. And just trim off your strings. Now, we've made this file folder. You can see the edge here. You barely even notice that it's anything but a regular file folder. But now we've made it into a journal with some pages inside, or like a mini notebook. So I thought that was a fun idea. It's a way to extend the use of these file folders. Because sometimes you have ephemera, but you have notes about what you want to use it for, or if you want to print out extra or something. So that'd be a cute idea. Let me add the pages to the rest of mine and I'll show you the finished product. I finished adding the pages into each of the folders. So I wanted to show you first. So here's what the edge looks like. They're bound like little journals here. And I've got a set of the file folders that don't have anything bound in them. So I wanted to just show you the difference in the thickness. So it will be a lot thicker, but not too much, and I don't think it's unreasonably thick to add to a journal. I mean, that's me because all my journals are at least this fat. If you like thin journals, then you'll want a much bigger spine. I've only got a 1/2 inch spine on here. If I had a bigger spine, the journal could hold more, but I like my journal to just be exploding with goodness and like look overstuffed. So you can add these in individually, like in tuck spots. You can put them in a pocket. Let's see if we have a big pocket here. Here's a big pocket. Let's see, I'll probably put them in this way so the tab doesn't get bent. You can easily tuck one into one of the big pockets and you can pull it out and you've got journaling or drawing space. You've got a pocket for ephemera. You can also add them in like I have this large folder. And that's just sticking them in the spine of a page and then running some washi tape on either side so that it becomes like an extra page in the journal. And when you do that, make sure you put a little glue down with your washi tape if you want it to be permanent. So we can just add one in right here. Let me grab my glue and some washi tape, and we'll just add him in. Maybe I'll do him towards the top. I don't know if you guys noticed, but when you tend to just put like pockets and things at the bottom of the journal, and so it becomes much fatter at the bottom and towards the middle than at the top. And so I try to even that out a little bit by remembering to put some ephemera at the top edge. So let's see, yeah, this page is really blank. So we'll add him in here. Let me grab some washi tape that kind of will look nice with this, and I'll show you. Okay, I grabbed some washi tape with some little green leaves on it. So I just want to cut 2 pieces. So I'll usually just stick them to the table and roll them out. I don't want them too long. If they're a little short, I don't mind. So once I get one, I just do a second one the same size. Okay. So let's put, we're going to put this one on here, but I like to put the glue down first on the edge. Washi is not permanent. It's removable, which is nice. But when you want to make it permanent, you need to add something else to help it stick. So I just put a little bit of art glitter glue, and I just overlapped it half. Now I put the glue on the tape, because I'm not sure where I'm going to put this in the journal yet. I think I want to put it more toward the top, especially since there's already something happening towards the bottom on these pages. So let's put it towards the top. So I just fit it right into the spine here and then press the tape down. You guys see that? And then just flip it over this direction. And on this side, I go ahead and put the glue on each side. I put it on the folder and on the page. And then you just line up the washi. As best you can. Press it down, and then I want to make sure it's still got enough give to be able to fold back and forth and to open. And that is how you do, it's called like a tip-in. That's how you add something to a book once it's already bound, but that acts like another page in the book. So yes, very fat, but when you get to this page, you now can open the little file folder. You've got a place for journaling, you've got an extra pocket in here, and it's fun to have like pages in the journal that are different sizes. So I think that's a fun interactive element to add. So thank you guys for stopping by and watching my little tutorial on how to add pages from the sketchbook to the mini folders, and then adding those into the full junk journal. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.